You tap your card, a green checkmark flashes, payment approved. It feels instant, clean, almost boring. But in that exact moment, money is created out of thin air. Not printed, not transferred from a vault, created. And almost no one tells you that this is how modern money actually comes into existence. That matters a lot, especially right now. Because when prices rise, when debt explodes, when banks wobble, and when governments panic, this invisible moment, the card swipe, is sitting quietly underneath it all. Let's slow it down. Imagine you're buying a coffee, $5. You think the money is already yours, sitting somewhere, waiting to move. That's not what happens. When you swipe your card, your bank doesn't reach into a pile of existing money and hand it over. Instead, it makes a promise. Your bank looks at you and says silently, "We believe you'll pay this back." Then it creates a new deposit in the coffee shop's bank account. At the same time, it creates a matching IOU in your name. Two numbers appear, one asset, one liability. Money is born. This isn't a loophole. It's not fraud. It's not a glitch. This is the core design of the modern financial system. Over 90% of the money you use every day didn't come from a government printing press. It came from banks issuing credit, loans, mortgages, credit cards, business lines. Money creation is not led by governments, it's led by lending. That's the uncomfortable truth. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most people are taught a simple story. Banks take deposits, banks lend deposits. That story is wrong. Banks don't wait for deposits to lend. They lend first. Deposits come later. Your loan creates someone else's money. If that feels backwards, good, it should, because this system only works if confidence holds. Let's talk about why this matters right now. We live in a world drowning in debt, household debt, corporate debt, government debt. Every swipe, every loan, every buy now, pay later plan quietly expands the money supply. Not because demand exploded, not because productivity doubled, but because credit expanded. When credit grows faster than real goods and services, prices don't need villains. Inflation becomes structural. And when credit slows down, when banks get nervous, the opposite happens. Suddenly, money stops being created. Spending freezes. Businesses panic. People lose jobs. Recessions aren't just about fear, they're about credit turning off. Now let's walk through the system step by step, without jargon. You swipe your card. Your bank checks three things. Do you have available credit? Are you within limits? Is the merchant legitimate? If yes, approval happens in milliseconds. But settlement, the actual balancing between banks, happens later. And here's the key. Your bank doesn't need to have the money beforehand. It only needs to find it afterward. That's why banks care so much about liquidity, not cash piles. If banks can borrow from other banks or from the central bank, the system keeps moving. This is why central banks exist, not to print money for you, but to backstop banks when promises stack up too fast. In other words, central banks don't drive the car, they install airbags. Now let's reveal the quiet math underneath this uneasiness. Banks are allowed to create far more money than they hold in reserves. This is legal, regulated, normal. A small base of reserves supports a much larger mountain of credit. As long as borrowers pay back loans, everything looks stable. Money exists, confidence holds. But when defaults rise, money doesn't just disappear emotionally, it disappears mathematically. Loan defaults destroy money. The same mechanism that creates money also deletes it. This is why financial crises feel sudden. Money isn't slowly drained, it collapses. Think about the irony here. We argue endlessly about government spending, but the largest money creation engine in the economy is private. Banks decide who gets credit, which businesses grow, which neighborhoods develop, which risks are acceptable. This is enormous power, and it's mostly invisible. Now contrast the hype with reality. People fear cash printing. They imagine trucks of money and reckless politicians. But most inflationary pressure doesn't start there. It starts with easy credit, low rates, relaxed lending standards. When borrowing feels painless, money multiplies quietly until it doesn't. This system explains something else you've probably felt. Why wages feel slow, why asset prices feel insane, why owning things beats working for things. Credit flows first into assets, homes, stocks, land. Those who already own assets benefit early. Those who rely on wages feel the pressure later. Not because of conspiracy, because of mechanics. Now zoom out. This is not a broken system, it's a fragile one. It depends on trust, on repayment, on growth continuing forever. If people stop borrowing, the economy shrinks. If people borrow too much, it overheats. There is no stable middle for long. So when you swipe your card, remember this: you're not just buying a coffee, you're participating in the creation of money itself. A promise stacked on top of millions of other promises. And the system works until it doesn't. The uncomfortable question isn't who printed the money, it's this: what happens when people stop believing the promises are good?
Because when belief cracks, the system doesn't gently slow down, it snaps. Banks stop trusting each other. Credit tightens overnight. Loans that were easy yesterday become impossible today. Nothing physical changed. Factories didn't vanish. Skills didn't disappear. Only trust did. That's why financial crises always feel confusing. People ask, where did the money go? It didn't go anywhere. It was never a thing. It was a relationship. A web of promises, layered on top of promises, all assuming tomorrow would look like yesterday. This is why governments rush in during crashes, not because they love banks, but because if the promise network collapses, everything else follows. Paychecks stop, businesses fail, political stability cracks. So central banks step in and replace private promises with public ones. They become the borrower of last resort, the lender of last resort, the confidence of last resort. Not to save the system, but to stop panic from rewriting reality. And this is where the story loops back to you. Every tap of your card feels small, harmless, routine, but multiplied by millions of people every day, it shapes the economy more than elections ever do. Because money today isn't created by hard work alone. It's created by willingness to borrow and willingness to believe repayment will happen. So the next time you hear someone ask, who creates money? The honest answer is uncomfortable. Banks create it, borrowers activate it, central banks protect it, and trust holds it together. The real risk isn't running out of money. It's waking up one day and realizing everyone finally stopped believing the promises were safe.